Hiya, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to change a tube when you've had a puncture. And for this example I'm going to use the back wheel, as it's one thing that people do struggle with, taking the back wheel out of a bike, so I'll quickly show you that as well. So you've stopped and you've got a rear wheel puncture. First thing you do is take the wheel out. So put it into the smallest sprocket on the back, open the quick release, and the wheel will just drop out like that. Might take a bit of manipulation to get the derailleur over the cassette, but having it on the smallest sprocket means that the wheel drops out of the bike a lot easier because the chain's all the way over to the outside. So the first thing you do is check the tyre and try and find the cause of the puncture. Now, it could be a flint, piece of glass, or you could even have a tear in the tyre. For this example, we're just going to say, for sake of argument, there's been a piece of glass in there. So you carefully go around, pick the piece of glass out. If you can find the hole but can't see the piece of glass in there, check on the inside of the tyre when you're taking the tyre off. So you let the rest of the air out, and then you go around and just unseat the tyre beading from under the hook of the rim, and you do this on both sides. And you do this to make the tyre a little bit looser on the wheel, and it'll come over. You'll either need tyre levers or you might be able to do it manually. So starting at the valve, just take the tyre off around one side of the wheel. So when you've got it all the way around, you can then start to remove the punctured in tube. So you take your punctured in tube out, and then you just check lightly around the inside of the tyre with your fingers to see if there are any other thorns or bits of glass or anything in there that might have caused a puncture if you haven't taken it out already. If you can't find the cause of the puncture, there could be a split in the tyre, so check round to have a look for that as well. If there is a split in the tyre, you'll have to patch it or put something over it as you put the inner tube in. Otherwise the tube will just come out and puncture again. So you get your unpunctured tube out of your spares thing, and then just blow a bit of air into it manually, just to give it a bit of a shape like the tube, put a bit of shape into it. It's a lot easier to get the tube into the tyre when it's like this. If there's no air in it at all, it can be a bit of a struggle. So the first thing you do is put the valve through, and then starting at the valve, you just go around the wheel, tucking the inner tube into the tyre like so, and then you go around and you just carefully feed the inner tube into the deep valley of the rim there. So you'll be left with the wheel like this, the tube's all the way in, the wheel around there, and you've just got the tyre to come on. Then starting opposite the valve, you put the bead in over the rim like that, and working with both hands, going around the wheel, you feed it all the way in until you get to the valve. And then the last bit, sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle, but you pop the tyre over the rim, then you just push the valve up into it just to make sure it hasn't pinched, and just to be sure, you can just quickly go around and have a look between the tyre and the rim to make sure the tube is fed all the way in, there's no pinches around there at all. And now you're ready to pump it up. So you can either use a hand pump, or you can use one of these compressed air cartridges, which will blow it up in a matter of seconds like that. So you do the valve up, and now you put the wheel back into the bike. So you put the chain onto the smallest sprocket, and it just falls into the bike like that. and then you close a quick release, and you're ready to be back on the road. Pretty simple. I'll put a step-by-step list of steps you need to follow, but it's the kind of thing that if you practice, just take some time at home and spend half an hour, just practice with a tyre and a wheel in your lounge, and you'll soon get good at it. Punctures shouldn't be the end of the world going to happen on a ride. They're going to happen, so you might as well be competent and handy doing it, and you can get a tube changed in 5 minutes, and it's just a quick 5-minute break and then off you go. It shouldn't be a ride ender, and it shouldn't take you half an hour of messing around with tubes and patches and tyre levers, etc.